I'm going to scoot over towards you to see the sign. There, you do that. All right, are we live going or what? Yeah. All right. It's automatic waiting room. They don't have to, I mean, they automatically come in.
They were supposed to automatically do it, but hold on, I might have to do it.
Getting it all. All right. Nice mug there, David.
Hey, you like that? How you doing, Jim?
Good. How are you all?
Doing fine. Same to you.
Cheers.
That's my favorite choice of beverage.
There you go. Mine's just water right now.
Oh, I like the high test premium stuff. None of that unleaded.
There you go. There you go. Well, we're give everyone a few minutes here to get in. These have seemed to be a little bit popular, and a lot of people apparently are looking at the recordings after the fact, apparently throughout the country and throughout the some of the world. So
Well, I had a fella that wanted to join. I tried to explain to him how to do it, so we'll see if he makes it.
all right, sounds good. Mm-hmm. All right, I think Corey is joining us, but he's joining us Jim Humphrey, it looks like. Because I think he's controlling it from our computer, another computer, trying to control the session.
I see Roanoke lost that Y6 today.
Yep. It was pulling out of town, I think yesterday, and it's on its way to St. Louis, back to St. Louis.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I didn't know.
Yeah, and it's too bad, you know, but we're only supposed to have it for a temporary time, I think, of about 5 years, and that's how it really went.
Well, they shouldn't have never lost it years ago, but you know how that is.
Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yep.
How you doing, Jim?
Good. How are you doing?
All right.
Good to see you, Miles.
All right. Good seeing you and
Yeah.
everybody else.
Good day to everybody.
Yeah, good day. We'll give it a few more minutes here and then get going with what we're going to do.
I hope nothing illegal.
Oh, you never know. I mean, you know, as we get more comfortable with this, then we might bring out the dancing girls or something. Who knows? But it won't be me.
Thank God for small miracles, Jim.
That's right. We're going to keep it good.
One of the questions that I had for you before you start this whole big thing. Someday I'd love to see you take us through an order.
Yeah.
You know, somebody calling in say, "Hey, I want a train." What do you do after you get his order?
Well, in terms of the paperwork and then how it goes to the plant floor and the flow of that.
Okay. Absolutely.
Sure. Well, we can describe a little bit of that now because we are going to go out to the plant floor here in a little while, and we're going to spend a lot of our time showing some actual operations going on right now.
Great.
With employees and them doing their normal thing. It's not staged. It's what's really going on. Okay. So generally speaking, an order comes in on the phone or through the internet or however, and after, you know, discussing and confirming, then we write it up in our computer software. We use Sage, which is what we've used for about 20 years. And we make an invoice, well, no, excuse me, a sales order and a what we call a picking slip. The picking slip is basically our production order and what we go by to make the order. And it can be as simple as a pair of trucks and a pair of couplers to, okay, I'm getting a -9 and these are the items going on it. Then it's a longer living piece of paper, of course.
Okay.
And at some point through my scheduling, and we schedule every day and we have a long running schedule, but we have a simple sort of plan that's several pages long for what each employee is going to be doing on the machines. And we start the process of making parts. And like I've said to many of you, we're all about making parts. It doesn't look sexy until towards the very end to when it all starts to get assembled. But there's a lot of parts making. And so there's various functions throughout the shop. And we start making parts, and it starts to flow from one end of making parts towards the other end of parts made and fabricated, and then assembled, and then possibly painted, and then crated and shipped. Now that's a very broad brushstroke of what we do, but I do agree. I think sometime I'll give you a little bit better idea of the whole process. But today we'll start with, we're going to go ahead and have our what looks like to be our 4th Titan Talks after we started this, and we appreciate you all's attending. Like I said before, this apparently is kind of popular. While there's only so many people that watch it now, there's apparently a lot of people that watch the recording later from Facebook and or what we're posting on our website throughout the country. And I've heard from some international customers that like to see it. So, we want to keep going and try to keep it interesting. So today we're going to walk out in the shop and start looking around. And you're welcome to try to ask questions as I go. I'll do some explaining and we'll watch some of the operations. And, if we have time, then we'll come back in the office here and, chit chat a little bit more. We're just going to see how it goes. But we'll go from the beginning of raw materials coming in to the other end of the building where it's pretty well finished. All right, here we go.
Good luck, Jim.
Thank you. Remember, we're not professionals here. We're just trying to be good amateurs.
All right.
So bear with me as I jiggle you. All right. We got to unplug here. First of all, we'll show you my Locomotive encyclopedia that I put my computer on so the camera looks at me properly. A little piece of history there. Now, as we go out the door, first thing in the office we'll see is that's Coco the dog. And then, Nyla's somewhere else. There's Nyla guarding the door. And then our director today, Corey. Everyone say hi, Corey.
Hey, Corey.
How you doing, Corey?
All right, here we go out the office. I put the office somewhat centrally located so I can get out and monitor and see what's going on through the shop at any time. Now we're going to go to the one end where the raw materials come in and just see the operations going.
How
Passing
many
by
people
a
do
few
you have
things.
working in there right now, Jim?
We have about 10 employees. There's probably 8 of those are on the shop floor right now.
Cool.
And then some office staff, and then there's me.
Oh.
All right, a little bit of an idea here. This is our loading dock area and receiving area. We're very fortunate. We have a covered loading dock area. That's a real luxury that we have here. Now looking back in the building, of course the 2 dogs, everything starts here We have some extremely good air compressors. These are Kaiser rotary screw air compressors because we do use a lot of compressed air. And then looking at our plastic vacuum forming machine, basically it's a big oven where we can put in big molds, whether it's a boxcar end or a boxcar roof, and we form it out of ABS plastic and then reinforce it later, with aluminum or other structures. But that's an integral part of our operation. Right here is our automatic cutoff saw. And this is what we use to saw blanks that are going to go to our CNC turning center that you're going to see in a little bit. Right now we're cutting brake beams, getting ready to machine brake beams. So it's taking a 12-foot bar of half-inch cold roll steel, and it's automatically sawing it. It stops, cuts off, advances another piece of bar stock, and then starts sawing again. Once we set up, it's automatic, so that the operator can be off doing something else. Now we use this for our wheel stock, where we buy a log of steel that might be 4.5 inches diameter and 5 feet long, and saw it into roughly 3/4 inch wafers. And we use that also for our axles. So this is a pretty important machine for us, and we're fortunate to have it. And then some of our raw material stock, bar stock, aluminum, channels, tubes and angles. And then typically we have throughout the shop some carts where we're putting all the parts on. For instance, this cart looks like has a lot of parts for bulkhead flats on one side, and the other side looks like has some parts for our container car. And so parts amass on these carts as we're making them, and then it'll head down to the other end of the shop for assembly. Or if it's going to be a kit, it might stay in this area and get boxed up as a kit, because right now we're right beside our shipping area. So we're turning around here back to the fun stuff of the manufacturing plant. And we have a big bandsaw where we cut the ABS plastic and the parts that come out of the vacuum forming machine. Right now we're looking at a roof, a boxcar roof, that also might be made into caboose roofs. And it's made out of the sheets that you see behind it, 4x8, 8-inch ABS plastic sheets that the vacuum former makes. And then the operator will cut it off parts on this big bandsaw, which is an old big bandsaw that came off of a Navy ship, I think, probably during the Second World War. It was in the war, but it's a good one. Now, one of our main workhorses for us is our CNC milling router. It was specially made for us to do milling of our aluminum parts, our sheets, our bar stock. So we have one side of the machine that is the sheet stock, and the sheets range in thickness from 40 thousandths, 16th. Bulk of what we use is 1/8 inch thick material, and we put a sheet of 4-foot by 12-foot aluminum on there, and that's what the beginning of most everything we do here, whether it's cars or locomotives, starts coming out of the sheet stock, which is programmed in the office and then brought out and inputted into the machine, and the operator keeps it running. We keep this running all day long. Right now we're doing bar stock, and we're machining brake shoes. And so this will run for a few hours making our brake shoes. And possibly see it as milling and pocket milling. And the brake shoe comes out complete and machined and ready to use. Now, except the next step would be we're going to take that brake shoe to a tumbler. And the tumbler is going to deburr the brake shoes and or whatever parts come off the bar stock. So you can see we have various parts all coming off the machine today that are going to go into the tumbler. And that machine, the tumbler keeps running all day long, tumbling the parts. And then a lot of times they still have to go to another station we have to continue to deburr them and process them some more as far as surface finish. One of our really neat machines here is our tapper, which our operator Steve is working right now. Air tapper. It works off a parallel arm. And so he's tapping some holes in a center sill for a caboose right now. The holes were drilled on a machine that's behind me, and I'll show you that in a minute. This is pretty neat. We're fortunate to have it. Then our other CNC machine that we use to process a lot of parts is this one. It's an older machine. We use it for all of the frame parts for all the train cars. And it's done well for us. Right now, Steve is getting ready to switch out a part that's just been drilled. So he's constantly running back and forth to many machines, keeping them going. He's the main guy making parts, machining parts. While we have some others doing it too, he's the main guy. So Steve, thanks Steve sometime. All right, then another machine, double-headed drilling drill press. He's going to finish out some of the holes as a secondary operation. Some of them get bigger. And so he's taking care of that now. He'll do that to whichever holes need it. We drilled a pilot hole. Not all of the holes get this. He knows which ones to do. All right, here we are, John. John is our main guy making some other parts. He's the guy who sands all of the castings, machines all of the castings, couplers, trucks, and such. Right now he's prepping some of the brake beams, getting them ready to go into our CNC turning center. It looks like it's stopped at the moment, so he's going to change out a part. There's one end of the brake beam done. And both ends are done on this, so he's going to stick in a fresh part. Today we happen to be making brake beams. Could have been axles, could have been wheels, but today is brake beams. So he's sticking it in the chuck, closing the chuck. Set, go. Now John's going to go off and do something else while the machine runs that part. So, some of the castings that we have, and some of the other CNC machines. There's CNC mills that we have that are generally running different parts throughout the day. Just regular knee mills, some fabricating pieces of equipment, from shears to brakes to rolls. And now you can see Steve is working on some of the secondary parts, again for a caboose. Excuse me. This machine today is doing some of the shorter frame parts, drilling the holes, getting them ready. Also in this area is our truck assembly area. See some of them on the floor today that we've assembled. These will be getting ready to go into stock, and then they'll be shipped out. John's already gone through the process of prepping some of the axles, the wheel assemblies, and assembling them. He cleans them, preps them, then assembles them and Loctites them. They're permanent assemblies. Now he's fitting the side frames on and the bolster. And now he's going to pop the springs in. Pretty simple operation for us. It is something you struggle with if you're not real familiar with it, but we've done it enough where it's second nature to us.
Hey, Jim, how does one get one of those screwdrivers, those special screwdrivers?
It's really just a regular screwdriver, and we may have sanded it down some, but it's just a big screwdriver.
Yeah, with the two sides of the tip taken off.
Well, it's hey, John, you can show him the screwdriver. He'll show you here in a moment. We haven't done too much to it. Show us the screwdriver, John. Show us. You can see it's pretty normal. Just sand it down a little bit to fit the spring.
Yeah, that's the key to the whole thing.
Yeah. John's pretty good at it, Ro. He's done many hundreds of trucks. Many hundreds. I'd say more like thousands. Because he's been doing it quite a while. And then you can see some of our bins of bearing caps and some bearings, some of the nuts, various springs. And there he's assembling the truck. Away he goes. It's done.
Incredible.
So, you know, we're in a process where we can assemble our trucks pretty quickly. That's why we really don't have kits anymore, because we can machine and assemble it really at about the same cost of what a kit would cost now. Plus, there's few people that really want to fool with a kit. So that's why we offer them only as assembled. One other thing here, we'll show you where our brakes are assembled. Various component parts and brakes. There's no brakes being assembled today, but we did a couple of pair earlier. Constantly doing pairs throughout the week. And just looking around, there's just various parts of anything. All cars, all kinds of car parts and train parts, you know, around the plant, staged in various areas where we use them.
Mm-hmm.
Again, some more secondary operation equipment, from band saws to a conventional lathe, the general parts area where some of the locomotive parts live, all in preparation for going to the locomotive assembly. And then just we're looking right now at the overall chassis, locomotive chassis assembly area and car body assembly area. So we have Curtis. Looking at Curtis now, who's one of the main chassis builders. He's assembling an RPM motor for one of the locomotives. We've got a couple of the locomotive chassis underway right now. Then we have James assembling and working on a special baggage car that will be going over to Switzerland. And it's coming right along. This is a special smooth-sided baggage car, which in real life was modified into a powered car, so that's why it's got a lot of slots in it. Around we have, you know, some locomotives sitting here. This one's waiting for delivery. We'll send it out, but right now it's looking pretty sitting here. We like looking at it, but it's all finished. Some of you ask how we do riveting, and we have a couple of riveting stations where I have pneumatic presses that press our rivets. Here's one, and then there's another over next to the paint booth. Any questions so far? All right.
How many locomotives can you work on, Jim? It looks like you have 3 of them there.
Well, there's 3 here. It varies. There's anywhere from 1 sitting here to 5 or 6. It all depends.
Yeah.
Generally, we're trying to work on a locomotive and get it out the door, pretty quickly in a timely fashion. But there's a lot of interacting parts to all this. So, for instance, you talked about when an order comes in. Well, there's several pieces to a locomotive order as far as we're concerned. One is the trucks, where we start machining, making the parts for the trucks and machining them in an assembly. There's the pilots, the front and rear pilots. That's a separate machining and sub-assembly operation. And then there's the overall chassis of putting all the chassis components together. And it's an assembly operation where we try to make the parts ready for going on to assembly elsewhere here. So here's one that's under construction.
Yeah.
This one was just started a few days ago. This other one that looks more finished, it'll be going out the door at the end of next week. And it basically is finished, and the body is finished, and we'll see that in a moment. For this one, we're going to see the body that's in the body assembly area, and the body is another big portion of what we do, making the parts and then getting it ready for assembly. Well, now we're going to go into the body assembly area, which does have a lot of welding that goes on. So we have the orange welding curtains. And right now we have Vern, who's one of our chief bodybuilders, diesel bodybuilders. He's working on a special unique unit. This is a GP40-2L. And this also will be going over to Switzerland. And over there is a GP9 body underway. And then our brand new welder, which we just had to get because we had an electrical problem, the power lines down and fried our old one. So I just had to buy a new welder, which is a nice improvement for the shop. Another welder was good, but in fact it was very good, but it was just old enough where we needed to go ahead and replace it because it got fried. But here's Vern, like I say, working on a unique body of GP40-2L. And it's under construction. It has a long ways to go, but we have a lot of the parts made. And so now we're assembling it. And then we'll do some tweaking of component parts as we go and making sure we're building it the way we think it should. Gives you an idea of what we do. This too, the body will probably be done next week, matching up with the chassis probably towards the end of next week, and then heading off to the paint booth, which we'll go see. Various components here that we use on the electrical and other parts of the locomotive builds. Right now we're looking at a CSX SW1500 that will be delivered to South Carolina next week. And then behind it is a GP9. This is what we call a GP9. It's a hobby version, one of 2 that we're building for a customer out west. And, it's ready to go, and the second one to mate up with it is also under construction. You see some of the inventory area that we have, and I'll come back to that. Right now we're going into the paint booth area, painting. And we have Timmy working on a GP9, Atchison, Topeka, and the Santa Fe. We're doing the zebra stripes skiing, as you can kind of see in the picture.
JB didn't get another one, did he,
starting
Jim?
the long and arduous. Nope, it's not a JB. But you people in LALS will be seeing this not too distant future. So here we are going through the, all the taping, the striping. He'll probably spend about 20 hours just doing the taping to get these stripes on.
Is
So
that one Jeff's train?
Nope. This is Joe's.
Oh, Joe's. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Then on over in the chassis area where you showed you pretty much finished chassis for GP9, and here is the body that's going with it, Baltimore and Ohio.
Really nice.
Thank you. This is another product that came out of our paint booth.
Wow.
And then everything else. And keep in mind, this started up in the beginning of our building, where we started the tour.
Yeah.
And making parts and then assembling parts. And here it is, a finished body that's painted. We're pretty proud by the time it gets here.
The decaling comes from Connie?
Yes, Connie provides us with all of our graphics. And, you know, so we have a good relationship with her, and she does a very good job for us. Now here's in the paint booth
very good.
yeah. And that's Connie Miracle of Miracle Graphics. So I recommend her completely. Here in the paint booth, which is drying right now, is a wide vision caboose, which was part of someone bought from our recent feature on our website, where we had special pricing. And it's going to be Santa Fe. You'll get the Santa Fe graphics put on here Monday, because today it's the clear coat is finishing, or excuse me, drying. We do use automotive paints, base coat, clear coat, and you know, in the spray booth environment. And then you know, we put vinyl graphics on top where vinyl graphics are appropriate. Sometimes we have to paint the letters on and the stripes. For instance, on this Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe GP9, where you see the AT and SF, that's going to be painted on. So we'll spend hours putting the paint mask on and getting all the little nooks and crannies taped off so we don't get a lot of overspray. Because as you can imagine, there's a lot of little detail parts and detail things that we have to go over. It's painstaking and time consuming, but it really makes a nice product. So we're pretty much at the end of the line. So things here either finish up and go into inventory and stock, or they might get crated and shipped out the door. And then we have a few things on the shelf, from couplers to brakes. A few things sitting here. Here's one of our center cupola cabooses, which is on feature right now in the used GP30 locomotive, which is available, and various cars. And then you see some trucks. You'll get another view of some of the cars in stock at any given time. It's pretty much a constant rotation of cars. And then here's a locomotive, the Chessie GP30 locomotive, ready for delivery in Clifton Forge to the C&O Historical Society. That's going to be delivered tomorrow. Now that they're opening up, you know, from the COVID-19 closures, they're going to be opening up and they're ready for the locomotive. We've had it done now for a couple of months and have been available. We were fortunate enough to be able to store it until they were ready. And tomorrow's the day they get it, so they're excited. All right, that's pretty much the tour of what we do. We kind of walk back to the office here, and I can sit down and we can chit chat. Any questions from anybody?
Hey, Jim, who designs those wooden crates?
I did all the design work on that. Pretty much it's an evolution for many years, going back many, many years ago. We had to develop something that was pretty available for us to make efficiently and as cost effectively, and also take the rigors of being beat around in the truck terminals and trucks. Yeah. And so over time, and through some trial and error and lessons, we came up with the current crate design, which we've been using for years now, and has been extremely, extremely successful. So, like most of the designs, it came up through me. All right, getting back to the office. It's a little bit cooler here in the office for me. It was getting hot out there. All right, let me put things down here. And then switch the camera around. And Corey, our director, is plugging me back in. And here we are. So what do you think? That's the operations of Titan Trains.
That was a great tour. Love that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, David?
I know this much. Seeing it on a video like this, a live feed, seeing it in pictures is one thing. And unless you actually ever visit the shop, the plant, you won't really appreciate the size and the scope of everything. It's just amazing.
Well, appreciate
and what's
that.
really neat is all the workers there. You can ask them any question you want. They're willing to take the time while they're working to explain it to you. They're really good people.
Well, we are very proud of our crew here. I have a lot of staff here that's been here many years. Some of them have been here 26 years. I mean, to me, that's phenomenal. We have probably the average time here right now is 8 or 9 years. Now, we do have a few that come and go, but our rate of retention is extremely high, almost phenomenal. And we do think we have a pretty good work environment. They stick around. The plant runs Monday through Thursday. We do 4 10-hour days. I've always done that. Some of it was selfish, because I thought, hey, I can get it all done in 4 days, and that's one less day of starting and stopping and breaks and lunches and all. But actually, it turns out, it turns out real good. The employees like it. So if they have a 3-day weekend, we like it because it's productive and it's not hard on us. And also what we do, there's a big routine of getting into groove. So Monday through Thursday, we're in the groove, doing what we do, and we're hard at it. And frankly, and now that I'm getting older, I'm tired by Friday, but it's worked out well, and the employees like it. And fortunately, we've been able to keep a lot of really good ones. We've just been very fortunate. They've treated me well, and hopefully I treat them well. And so thank you for recognizing, the employees, that they're pretty good people, and they are approachable, and you can talk to them. And also keep in mind, we are
Jim,
available for plant tours. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Hey, Jim, are some of your employees, are they involved in the hobby as well as a hobby?
Not really. None of them are. And in many respects, that's the way I want it. Because they build the product to what I say are the specifications. And a person who's into the trains or hobby might be trying to alter what we do. And I'm very big on making our product consistently, having a standard to it, and doing it such that there's, the design that we've come up with and that works is repeated. I'm extremely anal retentive on that we keep trying to do the same thing over and over. And if it needs improvement, we can incorporate those improvements. But basically, a lot of that comes through me. Now, the employees do get to have a lot of say in manufacturing improvements as far as processes. But the actual design of the product is something I've worked on, they've helped on. We've had outside engineers, maybe hydraulics, help on things, or electronics. And so it's been very important, to keep the consistency.
Do you have a test track out there?
Well, we have a local club track, the Blue Ridge Live Steamers, which is about 15 minutes away, not even 15 minutes away from the plant. This is the club that I started in back in the old Roanoke Transportation Museum in Roanoke, Virginia, which is near us here. Back in 1978 is when I got into the hobby. By 1981, me and another fella, George Sanderson, decided, well, we could make trains. And I was just starting to go to college at Virginia Tech. And I've been banging my head against the wall ever since. You know, I stuck with it. And the company is all mine now. And one day we'll go through a little bit of the history of the company. Back then, of course, it was Mountain Car Company. And we changed that to Titan Trains, mainly because when I started the company, there was no internet. Now there's an internet. We needed to have trains in the name. So, but back then, so now the club, a test track can be our club track, and it's on about 5 acres. And actually, I live there. I own the place, and have a lot of help from another fellow there. And the club maintains the track. There's about probably 5,000 feet of track on 5 acres with a bridge and tunnel and, well, several bridges, yards. Very nice track, and in a nice, quiet, outdoor wooded setting. And so anyone's welcome to come see it. But generally, we don't have to do a lot of testing unless it's a new product. We have certain procedures here where we bench test the locomotives. For instance, locomotives, we run them in for about 20 hours with the engine on, the pumps running, the motors, hydraulic motors turning. The chains are not hooked up to the trucks, but it'll run. We run it at various speeds, various RPMs, various speeds on the hydraulic motors. This sort of thing tests whether there's going to be a failure pretty quickly or not. And it's been extremely successful as far as a way to make sure everything is going to work. And so we keep doing it. Again, it's a process we've developed. I've been doing this 35 years, and it's been successful. You know, it's a successful procedure, and that's why we do it this way. It's a bench test. Any other questions? We're going to have to start wrapping it up here. We've managed to do this now for about 40 minutes.
Hey, Jim, how much of your business is overseas? I'm surprised you said you were shipping an engine over there.
Well, we don't do a whole lot, but we do some. We do some to Australia. We've done some to Switzerland, England, Mexico, Spain. You know, it's hard pressed to say how much of the business, but there's a little bit of business, and it's an important little part of the business that we want to, you know, enhance and keep doing. We do know how to ship internationally. We've shipped things by ocean freight and truck, which is the common way. We've also air freighted things, air freighted locomotives to Spain, because in this case in Spain, it was cheaper to get the locomotive air freighted to Spain and through customs than it was to go through the port, you know, ocean and port. So we get to learn a lot of different unique international issues and things to deal with when we do this. We also have a special international crate which you have to build an international crate so the customs will accept it and the countries will accept it. And so, but also keep in mind a lot of the European trains just don't look like ours. So there aren't that many people in Europe that want an Americanized train. Australia tends to be different. Australia's trains tend to look very Americanized, and some of them are really made here. But so that's why, you know, companies like us and some of the others probably do better shipping and selling to Australia than we do other parts of in Europe, whether it's England or Switzerland or whatever.
You shipping out the brake units this week, Jim?
Yeah, we haven't done that yet.
Come on, Jim.
I know, we got to finish that up. One of the many things we got to get done, but you know, we have everything to do it. You know, I'm probably the one holding up more than anyone else here. You know, no good excuse, but we're getting it. It looks like Ron Hiller's trying to say something or point to something. Not sure what, Ron.
Turn on your microphone, Ron. There he is.
Oh, there we go. That's
All right, Ron.
the mute button on the video. Jim,
Yeah,
quick question for you.
sure.
On my GP30, I have to literally foot that red bypass knob every once in a while.
Okay.
Starts backing out. And I noticed some of the newer units have some kind of a latch on them, I guess, to hold that in.
That's correct. If you email me, I'll send you a latch.
I sent 2 emails over the past 2 months, and I haven't gotten one yet. I haven't got a
Okay.
response from
But-
either one of them yet.
Yeah, because I haven't gotten the email. We've had problems with one of our email addresses. So go on the website and send it to titantrainsusa@gmail.com. That's a
Okay.
relatively new email that we instituted because we kept getting people like you telling us, you know, they sent us emails and we never got them to our old email address. We have no idea why that's happening. Nobody can tell us why. So the easiest thing was to get a new email address, which so far seems very successful.
Yeah,
and always
sometimes
gets through.
that's difficult. So you say it's on the webpage?
It's on the webpage. We've been using it now probably at least 4 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks.
Oh, okay. I'll look on the webpage because I know it's, if that thing backs out too far, you start losing power.
Oh yeah, you lose a
Because
lot of
it
power.
goes
You
through the
lose all of the
bypass
power.
frequently. Yeah, yeah.
That is a product improvement that we put on there, and I'll be glad to provide you one at no charge if you can get the email through to me.
Yeah, well, us folks
and-
over here in Jersey, we're a little slow at things sometimes, especially with King Murphy.
There you go. And if you do email me, I mean, spread the word. If you do email me and there's not a response pretty quick, assume I didn't get the email as opposed to assume I'm ignoring you. Okay.
Yeah, no, I
mean-
kind of figured something like that was going on, but I didn't know where to go. And
Yeah.
he's got his thumb on all of us down here. So,
There you go.
well, up
Well-
here, that's right. You're down there. We're up here.
That's right.
never-
That's right.
That day that I picked up the GP30,
Yep.
straight home in
Did
a
you?
thunderous rainstorm. But it was an interesting day we spent down there.
Great. Well, we're
That was
glad
in
to
the old
have you.
location.
That's right. You need to come to the new location.
I wish I could afford some more cars.
Well, you can come and hang out and just look at them if nothing else. How about that?
Okay, you got a
All right,
campground
Michael.
close by?
A what?
A campground close by?
Not too close by, but actually we could accommodate you at our track site. We could, we have power and water hookups.
Oh, okay. Well, I won't tie you up. Sorry to bother
That's
you.
all right. Nope, but you're welcome to email me, get the email through. If I don't respond pretty soon,
I'll call again.
call, yeah. All right, well, I think we're about out of time here. We got to go. My director is pushing me to go, Corey. Basically, he's got to leave, so it's time to end this. Like I say, this is recorded. We're going to be putting it up. It'll be posted next week, I think, and on the website next week. Takes us a little while to do that so that people can relive this, and we will do this again probably in 2 weeks, about the same time. So we certainly appreciate it. Y'all take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Jim.
Take care. Have a
Everybody
good
take
one.
care. See you.
Appreciate
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Stay safe.
Thank you. You all too. Good to see you, Doreen and Michael. Good to see you. Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.